What's up guys, welcome to my guide. I'm Justin Davis. This is the guide to the Osmo Action camera to get less jello in your camera, because if you've been flying it on your drone lately with the latest firmware update, you notice that there is some jello happening even with the hard mount setup. This is not going to be a motorized gimbal setup. This is a hard mount on my 7-inch drone. We're going to use the most notorious drone out there for my vibrations in my fleet. I've been flying drones for over 5 years on the channel, and this is the first camera that I've got almost zero jello with a hard mount. The Hero 7 is amazing, but fast forward to 2019, we have the DJI Osmo Action camera, and this is what it looks like accelerating up with no filter on a typical day, normal daylight. This is the stock camera settings right here in the automatic shooting mode at 60 frames per second. Looking okay, but there is some jitter. I don't see any super jello happening, but there is left to right jitter, and the Osmo Action is not handling it very well in comparison to the Hero 7 Hypersmooth. I have flown a lot with the GoPro Hero 7 in Hypersmooth in various locations in all kinds of different types of settings: wind, no wind, cloudy days, non-cloudy days. And getting back low to the ground with this, check this out. Oh, did you see that little guy? That's my friend Mr. Coyote. Check him out. Let's just freeze phrase him here for a second. There he is. Mr. Coyote, what's up, buddy? Flew right past him, but not a bad picture. And I'm zoomed in right there with the DJI Osmo, and he just turns to the right there looking at it go by. And this is what I want you to notice. The total changes with the Osmo Action are interesting. There's a lot of tonal variation in brightness and contrast. It seems like the processor in the camera is not quite fast enough to pick up those changes. No filter with Hypersmooth, however, is looking amazing. This is out on the Oregon coast, and it does need an Indus filter here for some of that lens flare. It could definitely use a filter on the front of this camera, but this is shooting with no filter using Hypersmooth, and this is a midday shot right here where it's quite amazing over the ocean. No filters needed inside my post editor to get rid of that jello. This is what you can see. It also handles light to dark transitions really well. When you turn the camera, for example, look at this. I'll turn the camera down here. There's not a lot of tonal change right here, which is amazing. The Osmo Action does show quite a bit of catch-up, what we'll call catch-up for the tonal range. You'll see it light to dark transition. It's not quite as apparent with the Hero 7 Black, but rock solid Hypersmooth right here. And let's just go ahead and show you 60 frames per second shooting 4K on a cloudy day with the Osmo Action with no filter. And I'm going to show you the Indus filter. It's an Indus 16 coming up. It'll reduce our f-stop about 4, and that's going to reduce the jello big time. When you're accelerating with the DJI Osmo with that 7-inch quad, it seems to really have quite a bit of jitter, and that's going to happen on any type of camera because your motors are increasing your RPM and you're increasing the vibration. Low to the ground, however, is where you see that it's almost invisible to the naked eye as far as the jello goes. Where you really start to see the jello and stutter is when you do come back up higher to the horizon. You see that jello happening. And now we're back down low to the ground, coming down this little road right here, down the end of this road right here, and back over the trees for a dive, and look for that tonal change. You can see that tonal change right there happening, and it even gets darker right here. So looking straight at the ground, it was quite light, and now that we're back to the horizon, it is looking pretty dark. We're going to add the Indus 16 filter on there now, and immediately you should see less jello in this setup. So I think the Freewell filters, if you're going to buy or you've already bought the DJI Osmo Action camera, putting these filters on there, even starting out with one of the lighter ones, the Indus 16, on a typical normal day sunlight, really dramatically changes the jello on my 7-inch quad. If you're flying a 5-inch quad, you're going to notice even less jello because you'll have a little better tune on something that's 5-inch. You could even fly this camera on a 3-inch quad. It is sturdier feeling in my hands though than the GoPro Hero 7. The shell on the Osmo is some type of aluminum. It's a metal exterior. It's really interesting. So there is color change right there. Did you see the color change on that? So they have some work to do with their firmware coming up in the next couple months. And DJI is one of those companies, you know they're going to work on it. They've seen the reviewers, they've seen all the video that we've been putting out there, and they're going to react to that. But again, that color change is just really getting on my nerves. Even with filter or without a filter, it doesn't matter. It seems like it's not handling the light transitions quite as well as the GoPro, but I have to say that I'm happy that there is some way to get rid of a lot of this jello using the filters that Freewell has provided. I got these last week and I was able to test them all week for you guys. Really get out there and fly some batteries. I'm also going to be testing out the rest of this pack. There's 8 different filters in the pack that I got. They also have some that are magnetic that snap on the front of the camera, which I think is pretty cool. I also saw that you can get the ND16 filter or a single filter for around $19.99, so you don't have to buy all of them. You don't have to buy the larger 8-pack. I think the larger 8-pack is going for around $129. But if you paid $349 for an action camera, you really want to invest in some filters. Filters make all the difference when you're filming. You can see here, like, I've almost completely eliminated the jello that I had before with this camera, and the 7-inch quad is extremely hard to tune and get that jello out of, so the Osmo Action is just not behaving well without any type of filter on the front. If you get this and you slap it on your drone, you're going to notice that you're going to have some jello right away, and it does perform a lot better on the typical sunny days. It didn't really seem to handle light transitions variations very well on the cloudy days at all, but again, I still see some of that light and color transition. So I'm really hoping that DJI does that firmware update coming up soon and gets rid of that. But this camera for me is almost unusable without the filters as far as the jello is concerned, and that's pretty much the whole point of this particular video, is that we tested this out enough to show you that the filters do make a difference. Even if you were to grab one of them for $19, that's going to change your flight experience and get it looking more like this. A lot closer to the GoPro Hero Hypersmooth that you see here. So I've been happy with Hypersmooth since day one. The first day that I got it, I did a review on it earlier, previous on my channel. We went out all over Oregon and we flew in various locations. And we came back with some amazing footage that I was extremely happy with. So DJI has a big challenge on their hands to be able to compete with Hypersmooth. And a lot of drone pilots are really happy with Hypersmooth. This is the same exact 7-inch with the GoPro Hero 7 on there, and the same exact hard mount. You see a little bit of vibrations right there on the acceleration up and then back around, not bad. But straight ahead shots look immaculate. And again, that's no filter on that one. So pick up those Freewell filters if you can down at the link below, and you'll be happy with your DJI Osmo Action. A lot happier than you were before without the filter. So 2 thumbs up from me, and 5 stars for the Freewell 8-pack of Osmo Action filters. Thanks again for watching, you guys. I'm Justin Davis. I'll see you on the next one.